Hello everyone, I am Surrendal the Awesome, and I'm back, and I'm ready to look at some Star Wars Dark Forces. But before I get started, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and if I can't convince you, perhaps this picture of my cat will convince you. And, random fact about my cat society is that they elect their leaders by taking their government-sponsored guns and overthrowing their government. Without further ado, let's get into this. And Star Wars Dark Forces opens up just in probably the most Star Wars DOS game way possible, which is just great. And I just love how it just starts with the title crawl and just the very DOS game sounding intro music to Star Wars, which hopefully will not get copyrighted here, but it is just cool. And then it just skips to the title, Star Wars Dark Forces. Now I'm playing the Remastered edition, which is very good, and you should definitely try it out, and is more made for modern PCs. And this is just how the title comes in, which is really cool. In Dark Forces, you will play as a mercenary here named Kyle Katarn, who recently left the Empire and is basically now taking up mercenary work for the Alliance. And the first mission you do as Kyle Katarn is steal the Death Star plans for the Rebel Alliance. Anyways, this first mission is a really great way to introduce yourself to the game. And one thing I will definitely say is great about the remake is how I could just use the mouse to look up and down instead of using the keys, which definitely made it a lot easier when it came down to, look it up and not me having to press some number keys. And also, this first mission is really simple. Like, me as a kid could actually beat this mission. And also, the puzzles are really simple and easy to solve, especially good for a first mission where you're trying to get used to the controls. And also, this mission actually does have its fair share of secrets, like this cave here, which you can actually get a revive from. And also another thing that I like about the remake is also how it gives you an aiming reticule, so you're not, having to shoot and pray. And then, when you get the Death Star plans, all you have to do is really get up to the landing pad, and you complete the mission. Now, one thing I will say that is weird about the remake is quite literally the skyboxes. I don't know if it's intentional, but I think it's weird just how it kind of rotates a bit. It just kind of looks really weird to me. So then it fast forwards a few weeks after family drama, where the Empire is ready to retaliate, and this is a really cool cutscene that I really like. And
demonstration, General Monk. Thank you, Lord Vader. What I unveil today will mark a new era for the Empire. We will be able to decimate the rebels just as we did the Jedi Knights. At last, the Emperor's war will be filled only with the glory and beauty of decisive victory.
A noble cause, General. I hope the demonstration lives up to your claims. Proceed.
With pleasure. Dark Trooper, release.
Very impressive, General. The Emperor will be most pleased. Continue with your project.
Certainly, Lord Vader.
Also, I think that things like, say, the character models in the cutscenes are also a lot smoother, and I kind of think that they're a bit better than in the original. And also, the animation for, like, the Moldy Crow or the Dark Troopers in this cutscene is actually done really well. And after that part, it actually more or less goes into a long, drawn-out sequence. Anyways, the next cutscene is basically more or less where the rebels are on the run after some family drama that happened, and where Mon Mothma here is basically explaining to Kyle Katarn what happened at TAC Base, which we saw in the previous cutscene, and also, more or less, that Crix Medine is supplying information. This cutscene is very drawn out, and Kyle Katarn basically accepts the mission, and yeah, we'll get on to the mission on TAC Base. Anyways, the next mission is on TAC Base, where it looks pretty grisly and pretty empty and pretty full of Imperials, because I guess they're trying to cover up the Dark Troopers, which they're not really doing a great job of doing it, as you can see in this room here. But anyways, for this mission, basically what you have to do is you have to first turn the power back on, and then you have to basically go navigate your way through the base to find some evidence of the Dark Trooper. And of course, the weapon that you pick up from the Dark Troopers, which I wonder, one, how it got there, and two, how Kyle apparently just has to casually pick it up and take it back to the landing zone, which I'm guessing probably goes something like this here. Hey Jan.
Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, I found this weapon here that's way too big for a normal human to carry. It's like twice my size and twice my weight also.
Back to the landing pad and I'll meet you there.
Okie dokie. But I didn't skip leg day. You know, glad he gave the gym a real good workout. Anyways, I like this mission because, you know, it's a really cool mission that just gives you more exploration and more opportunities to solve problems. And also you get to see just what the Dark Troopers managed to do to this base, what just a few did to this entire base here. And also you get to basically try out things like the flashlight, which actually you kind of may have to unless you really like fighting in the dark. And also, this mission is, again, not really difficult. Again, me in high school could practically beat this mission. And, yeah, at least it's not like the sewer mission, the next mission. Anyways, the next mission is where you're going to hunt Moff Reedus, because he quite literally has his initials written on the Dark Trooper weapon. Just, you know, something you have on all of your top secret military equipment is just, you know, who designed it. But anyways, you go to, quite literally, the crappiest planet in the galaxy. And in all honesty, this mission actually isn't that bad as much as everybody says it is. And I will admit, I actually like this mission. It's simple enough to solve, even though that you're practically most of the time in the sewer system, and you're basically fighting a bunch of Dianogas, interrogator droids, and probe droids. But anyways, you also get introduced to the Gren in this mission, where basically they throw grenades, and they will especially become a bigger problem later on in the later missions. And then you find Moff Reedus, who is just standing there, or sitting there, I should say, you know, not firing back at me, and then I just go and interrogate him. You know, I bet Kyle's gonna really need a shower after this really crappy mission. So the next mission is the one where you're on Fest, where you have to basically go find some Frick. And no, I don't want to sound like the Sonic kid or like a 12-year-old who can't say the F word. Anyways, this mission is kind of confusing in how you get into the base. Basically, what you have to do is you have to find a crawl space, which I did struggle with when I was in middle school, and I could not figure this one out for the life of me. But now that I'm older and wiser, and actually a bit more keen to explore, which this level does a great job at encouraging you to explore and find a new way to get into the base than the front door, it actually is a really fun mission. And I will admit that these turrets, which are introduced in this level, are very, very annoying, and actually some of the most annoying enemies in this game. Yeah, eventually you get to this really cool puzzle where basically you kind of have to more or less think on what level you want the platforms to be at, and also in what position, which is really cool just to activate the levers. And then you get the frick, and then you get out of the level, which I will admit that I did kind of struggle at getting out, as you could probably tell with my rage here. That was really, really frustrating to just have it be so simple right in front of my face, and then I just couldn't solve it for the life of me. But other than that, this level was really, really fun. The next mission is where you go to Groma 16, or the Blood Moon as it's also called, which is a very unfriendly sounding name, where you have to destroy the Frick mine on Gromas. And this mission is a bit confusing, especially towards the end. So basically, it starts out really simple where you have to basically find your way in, and then when you're in, it can be kinda confusing. One thing that I do like is just how blood red the entire ground is, and even inside the bases, it's really cool. And this is also the first mission where you fight a Dark Trooper. You fight the Dark Trooper Phase 1, which basically just has a vibro blade and a shield, and basically that fight wasn't too hard, but it's a pretty cool fight because the Dark Trooper can basically deflect your shots right back at you, and the Dark Trooper is also surprisingly durable and surprisingly fast. And the confusing part that I definitely still do not fully understand is this part where basically you have to more or less look away while the doors are opening, and then you got to basically sprint through the doors, which I still do not fully understand. And also, when I first beat this game, I quietly looked up an online walkthrough, and I still do not fully understand this one. And that was just really, really annoying. Anyways, you destroyed the mine on Gromas, and then you go to the next mission, which is on Oranakra, where you have to rescue Crix Medine, who has been captured by General Rom Mok, and boy, apparently in the Star Wars universe, the OSHA administration is really having their work cut out for them. You know, with landmines just casually strewn about a military base, just, you know, to catch intruders, but I can just imagine how stressful that must be to work in. Anyways, this mission is surprisingly confusing, like, to the point where this map here is quite literally going to be your best friend in terms of telling you precisely where you're supposed to go. And I did not figure that out until, like, roughly 45 minutes after I started the mission. And this was after I basically massacred the whole facility, and pretty much, yeah. Other than that, this mission is quite good, but it is very, 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 very confusing. And then you rescue Crix Medine, and he tells you more about the Dark Trooper project, but he doesn't quite fully defect to the Rebel Alliance, and apparently you have to rescue him again in Rogue Squadron, which I guess that is one thing he's good at, is getting captured, apparently. But all joking aside, yeah, this mission is quite confusing. Anyways, The next mission is the one where you're on Cal City, and where you have to basically go find a smuggler ship that is definitely 100% not owned by Jabba the Hutt, to go find the next part of the Dark Trooper project to sabotage. And I'll be honest, I kind of find this mission to be pretty forgettable. It's not bad, it's just kind of forgettable. And also, with more health code violations that would give an OSHA inspector a headache, and also apparently, people in Star Wars just really like to leave their keys just stirring about the place. Which I guess it's no wonder that the Empire fell and could not keep its secrets together, because apparently, they just keep their keys, just stirring about the place. Anyways, this mission is also surprisingly annoying with the Grand, where they just constantly chuck grenades at you, and that is really not fun to have to fight. Especially not a lot of them, like in this room here. And then you break into this Imperial facility, which kind of looks suspiciously like the Tantive 4 in some ways, or at least the inside of it. And then you put the tracking device on the smuggler ship right after you step on a landmine like I did on accident, which, again, probably is going to give a health inspector a bit of a headache. And then you go on to the next mission, which is set at Antivi here. And this mission is, well, an ice mission. But it's surprisingly not as annoying with ice physics as you'd expect, because you can actually get the ice boots, which basically make it so that trekking on ice is actually a lot easier. Except for my first walk here, where I quite literally get stuck against the wall and I can't get out and I have to basically respawn, which was kind of annoying. Anyways, you basically break into the base and more or less find a conveniently placed key that I'm sure somebody's getting fired for putting it there, and then you have full access to the base. And then you gotta basically go through the manufacturing area, which can be kind of tricky and kind of dangerous. And I think the OSHA inspector is going to be getting a headache here. And I like this mission as well. It actually is really fun and kind of simple, at least compared to some of the other missions here. And also you get your first fight with the Dark Trooper Phase 2, which has a gun and a jetpack, and is surprisingly scary the first time, although I wonder why he's not guarding it. And also in this mission, you basically have to put on a gas mask or else you die in the part with the core, which I like, but it was kind of annoying to figure out which key, put on the gas mask. I also do like the breathing sounds of the gas mask, although that can kind of get annoying. And then you get back to the landing pad and destroy the base on Antivi. And then you go on to the next mission, which is at Nar Shaddaa, where you go through Nar Shaddaa to go find a nav card to help you find the Arc Hammer, and to help you destroy the Dark Trooper project. And this mission is surprisingly difficult, especially with a lot of landmine placement, and some of the puzzles are also kind of hard to figure out, and I can just imagine walking home from a stressful day at work being, where you probably get taken out by a landmine or two or three, and walking home from work is kind of like this here. And also, walking home from work, you may run through a part of town where it's like downtown Stalingrad on a good day. Anyways, this mission also introduces you to the Trandoshans, which are incredibly annoying because their weapon could just shave off your health like it's nothing. And I only managed to make it through this mission by the skin of my teeth, and I think I failed this one. And man, this level was really difficult, but also really, really fun. And also, you then find the nav card, and then where you go on to the next part, where you're definitely not going to get captured by Jabba the Hutt, and you're going to get captured by Jabba the Hutt and have to basically escape from his ship. Oh well, I guess I'm not great at predicting everything. Anyways, the next mission is the one where you're on Jabba's luxury space yacht, and this mission is, in my opinion, the worst one in the entire game, because at first you have to fight this Kell dragon with your bare hands, and that one is surprisingly a difficult fight, especially since, it can go right through your shield and take your health, like 20 of your health per hit. And also it takes a really long time, or at least a surprisingly long time, to put the thing down. Anyways, after you kill the Kell dragon with your bare hands, the door opens up, which makes me wonder, what were the guards thinking at that idea? Was it something like this here? Huh, that guy just killed a Komodo dragon with his bare hands? Let's let him out and see what happens. What's the worst that could happen? The next part, you basically are having to go through with your bare hands and more or less some grenades and landmines, and it's really not fun, at least until you get your equipment. And this is one mission where I quite literally had to play it on easy because I could not beat it on medium. And also, this mission, apparently, you have to deal with a bunch of landmines on a luxury space yacht, which I can't name any way that this could go horribly wrong. Like this situation here. Well, I'd say this party's going really well. And I'm only just now realizing that I put the winery and where I serve alcohol right where one of the rooms where I have landmines is. And I can see a drunk person going into one of those rooms, and man, the insurance company's gonna kill me for that. And also Trandoshans and Grands, with grenade launchers and explosives just casually strewn about the place. And I wonder what the insurance company must be thinking about that. Anyways, you get your stuff, you get the nav card, and then you save Jan, and then you get off the ship. And basically, this level I really don't like, and I am glad to be done with that mission. Anyways, the next mission is the one where you're on Coruscant to go break into a Imperial supercomputer to decode the nav card so you can find the Arc Hammer. And this mission is pretty fun. And you do get to fight some Dark Troopers here, and you also have to deal with a puzzle that honestly looks more complicated than it actually is. And I guess it kind of boils down to it's only difficult if you overthink it. And also, you even get a fight against Boba Fett, which, for me, his AI kind of bugged out, and he was just constantly flying into a wall, so I just kind of shot him, and then I went to teabagging him. And also, this mission was kind of difficult, and I did die a few times, but it was still really, really fun, and yeah, I will say that this mission is probably one of my favorite ones. And it also has a surprising lack of landmines, and also a surprising lack of Trandoshans and Gran, which I will say, after the last two missions, I am so thankful to not have to deal with Kyle tripping over landmines. I guess maybe the insurance company is finally getting on them about landmines. And the next mission is the one where you're on some random fuel station where you want to steal a cargo ship to get on board the Executor to get on board the Arc Hammer. And this mission, in all honesty, is kind of forgettable, except for the part where apparently there's more health code violations with random explosive fuel tanks just lying around haphazardly on a fuel station, and also this parkour section, which I think is actually pretty cool and actually was pretty easy to solve and actually felt satisfying to solve. Anyways, you steal this entire cargo ship and then you go to the Executor to go link up with the Arc Hammer. And yeah, this mission was also kinda easy and not really memorable in my opinion. Anyways, the next mission quite literally starts with you trying to open a door and you get blown up. Anyways, this mission is set on the Executor, where you have to steal a cargo ship, another one, to get on board the Arc Hammer. And this mission is quite difficult, and you have to face a few Dark Troopers, like this part here, And I did remember failing a few times on this mission, but other than that, this mission was very, very fun. And also, I will admit that the platforming in this game is really good, especially considering the fact that this game doesn't really focus a whole lot on platforming, or at least not as much as you would imagine. And also the puzzles in this mission is really, really fun. And then you go and steal the cargo ship, and then you get on the arc hammer. And surprisingly enough, no alarms were set on the arc hammer, which makes me wonder what they were thinking. Were they thinking something along the lines of this here? Oh, some guy just broke into our cargo ship and is currently going into our secret weapons factory? I'm sure they'll find out eventually. Anyways, the last mission is the one where you're on the arc hammer, where you have to set 3 charges and kill General Rummok to eventually destroy the arc hammer. And this mission is hard, like really, really hard. Like I had to put it on easy just to beat it hard. And this mission is also really, really fun. And you have to fight a lot of Dark Troopers, like quite a bit, but then again, it should be pretty obvious considering the fact this is a factory ship. Anyways, in this mission, it is also full of a lot of very dangerous parts where you have to basically navigate through factory parts. And also this part where I embarrassingly enough had to basically search it up on the internet on how to do it, and I'm only just now realizing that I had to crouch, not, fight a different path, which was really embarrassing. And also, these factory arms here quite literally will take your health. Just go through your shield and take your health. But luckily, you can actually destroy those. Anyways, this mission is also quite long. Like, I think this is the longest mission in the game. Anyways, you have to fight a bunch of Dark Troopers in this room, which really builds up to the fight against General Rummok. And in this room, I died a lot in. And this room is kinda terrifying, especially if you're trying to fight it for the first time. Then, you get to kill the Dark Trooper Phase 3, controlled by General Rummok. And it definitely went something like this.
Any last words, smokescreen?
Just 4. Kiss your armor goodbye.
And not like this here for me. Anyways, you kill General Rummok, and then you get off of the arc hammer, and you watch the fireworks. And Darth Vader mentions how the Force is strong with Kyle Katarn, which I'm sure won't mean anything in the future. Overall, I think Star Wars Dark Forces Remastered is a good remastered, and also it works well on modern PCs, whereas the old one you may actually run into some trouble. And also on the remaster, it definitely does look clearer than on the original. And overall, I would recommend you at least give it a try, and it's really, really fun, if not maybe a bit challenging. And I think with that, that's gonna do it for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.